That was actually my green line stat of the week. I don't know if you saw this come up in the broadcast because you say you didn't watch much of this game.
Mm-hmm.
There's been 5 blocked field goals in SEC championship history.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia has 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know Georgia fans are sitting at home. Beamer ball is always a thing. Georgia Bulldogs. Nobody blocks kicks and punts like the Georgia Bulldogs. Every single big game, just about, Georgia blocks a punt or a field goal. Because they've also blocked 2 punts in the SEC championship, too. Back in 2002 and in 2005, they blocked a punt. So 4 blocked field goals, 2 blocked punts in SEC history, and even Kirby in the Rose Bowl, they blocked a field goal. National championship last year blocked a field goal that really kind of led to all the momentum being on Georgia's side in the third quarter of that game. But yeah, and even go back to the 2017 national championship, Tyler Simmons blocked that punt that he was called offsides for that Georgia fans will never forget in the third quarter of that Alabama game. But yeah, Beamer ball is one thing, but Kirby's team's blocking kicks. And it goes back to Mark Richt's teams. I don't know if you remember the 2012, they blocked the field goal. Alec Ogletree returned it to the house. In the SEC championship against Alabama. Back in 2017 against Auburn, Georgia blocked a field goal on that one. It's just blocking kicks, man. It leads to good things for the Georgia Bulldogs.
I wonder how many Terrence Cody had total. I feel like he had at least 2 by himself. Terrence Cody was a difficult man to block.
He definitely had a couple. But yeah, Georgia just jumped out in this one. LSU's got to be discouraged the way this one started because they really were the better team for probably the first quarter of this game. They were moving the ball well on Georgia, but
what were they doing to move the ball well? What were they doing that actually gave Georgia problems?
It's hard to say. I mean, Jaden Daniels was just he was just completing passes, converting third downs. They put together 2 good drives, and Keyshawn Butte's first touchdown, I mean, it was just awful tackling. I mean, it was just like a 20-yard reception that he turned into like a 50-yard touchdown, making 3 or 4 guys miss. But so LSU played well in the first half, but for Georgia to block the field goal, take it back for a touchdown, and then just the fluky interception that bounced off the LSU receiver's helmet, and then Georgia was able to pick it off, and then it's like, as an LSU fan, you felt like you probably played well, and one play into the second quarter, you're down 21-7, and it's like it's hard to see. And I think they went up 35-7, and because I don't know if you saw, LSU broke the record for passing yards in an SEC championship in this game. So most passing yards ever in an SEC championship. Nussmeier came in because that's Georgia's kryptonite is the backup quarterback coming in. He actually made some plays in this one, but when Georgia's up 35-7, LSU had 160 total yards. After that point, they had almost 400 total yards. So it's hard to call the entire second half of the game garbage time, but Georgia was up 35-10 at half. So they pretty much took care of business. They are the 7th team. I actually want to say 5th team in SEC championship game history to score 50 points. It was a big time performance. Stetson Bennett, I actually said this internally in our family coming into this game. If this guy throws 4 touchdown passes, he's going to the Heisman ceremony. Because we talked about Seth Emerson, and I also looked up the advanced stats of how many guys he had that had been like 20-yard receptions, guys been tackled inside the 2 and stuff. Like if you added on like 4 or 5 touchdowns, I think he's a lock to win the Heisman, honestly. If he's got like 25 touchdowns, just the whole storyline and the formula like we always talk about with the Heisman, like he would fit it. But he did have 4 touchdowns in this game to give him 20 on the season. I feel like 20 is that's a nice number. 20 rushing or 20 passing, 7 rushing on the year. I think that may have done it. Got him to the Heisman ceremony. But I also wanted to make this point. Stetson has played five teams this year that are currently ranked in the top 25. In those 5 games, he's got 13 passing touchdowns, 2 picks, 4 rushing touchdowns, and completing 73% of his passes. So basically the exact opposite of what CJ Stroud has been this year. Like, this guy, he's got 13 of his 20 passing touchdowns on the season in these 5 games against the best teams Georgia's played all year. So I think if they wanted to pad his stats and everything against some of the cupcake teams, I think they could have done that. But I think Georgia, more than any team in the country, just represents the team that needs absolutely 0 style points. So although you did see in this one, although some have said this is by the card, don't know if that's true or not, but with Georgia had 48 in this one, and did you see him run the Philly special to go for 2 and make it an even 50?
I did not.
I don't know if that was something. This is the first time Georgia's beaten LSU. I don't know if that was something he owed LSU from a few years ago, or if this was I don't know, just wanted to score 50. I don't know. It also, someone said the card was when you're up 25, you go for 2 to be up 27. I don't know if that's a real thing. It seems like 26 and 27 are basically the same to me, but I don't know. So Georgia went for 2, up like 48, whatever it was at that point. Seemed odd, but yeah, it was a big time win for the Bulldogs, dropping a 50 spot. It's always a good thing.
Michigan, another second half blowout. They take care of Purdue. This was my upset pick of the week. Braun was undefeated as an unranked team against the top 3 teams. He goes down here. This was close at the half. This was Purdue did what they could to stay in it. But the difference was Will Johnson for me, where he was targeted 7 times, gave up 3 receptions, 15 yards, and 2 picks. Number 2, and then I think Charles Woodson actually tweeted out, like, is that a number 2 for the Wolverines making all these plays, which is pretty cool. But I think he was the story of this.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw number 2 getting picks for Michigan. Yeah, Woodson was my guy. That was like my favorite player ever back in the day.
Matt Green for the good folks on youtube.com/Chase Thomas Podcast. Some other people in the state of Tennessee might disagree with that here.
I know you guys love Peyton, but Woodson was the man. And then Champ Bailey was like Georgia's version of Woodson, but Woodson was just a baller.
I think Michigan also deserves credit because Blake Corum announced this week out for the year. Just a brutal blow. He would have been in New York, I think, had he not blown out his knee. The kind of season he's had has just been unreal. Donovan Edwards with the one arm or one hand.
So if the injury cost Blake Corum, I'm sorry to interrupt you. If the injury cost Blake Corum his Heisman invite, it's got to cost Hendon Hooker his Heisman invite. Here's the difference.
Quarterbacks. Right? Quarterbacks always get benefit of the doubt in this thing. Heisman.
He's missed more time than Blake Corum, though, is he not?
He's only missed 1 game. They both have missed 1 game.
Okay. So I don't know. I don't know. How do you decide?
I'm not saying it's right. Hooker's a definite.
His team won without him. Does that hurt his case?
It was Vanderbilt. I don't know.
I was saying Michigan.
Oh well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I just think running backs are treated more harshly. It's already hard enough to get a